Hello and welcome to part three. Three. I can count. I swear. Part three of It's All About the Children. Kind of a series of video diary, I guess, of a gender neutral person's journey to become a father. That's about as best as I can do for right now. So far, we've kind of gone through a couple of the books I've gone, after figuring out what I wanted to do. So the adoption handbook. Why do I keep calling it that? The adoption answered book. Ignore that. The adoption answer book, and then there's adopting on your own, which is the guide to single parent adoption, and that's by Lee Vera. And I don't remember the other person's name, kind of a weird name too, but it's a very good resource to talk to somebody that you know who's adopted or who's maybe looked into it, because of infertility or any number of reasons actually. So look into that. Also, I put a link in there for Ujima, which is One Church, One Child, which is foster parents for children of color in Washington State. So I'm sure it's state by state, and I probably should look through some sort of I'm sure there's a directory somewhere, either if not by Wikipedia, which is my information love, or just online in general. So I'll look through that, and I'll probably put that down here for this video. So just yeah, keep an eye out for that too. Um, so where I'm at now was I went through Ujima, just one class. So I kind of know a little bit more after going through that class, and it was very eye opening because there's a lot to look into and to keep in mind, and it really did open my eyes to the different kinds of children you'd probably find in foster homes. A lot of them from bad families and they were taken from their parents or whatever, so all sorts of different circumstances of where they've been before they come to live with you. So that was really eye opening, just that one class alone. So and also I think they talk a little bit about that in both of those books as well. So I'm actually kind of wondering if I got those books after I went to that one class, because that class was the first I ever really heard or read about where these children had come from, before being placed in a foster home. Um, so with a foster family. So before finding a forever family, if they ever do. So I did that for a little bit of time, but that was before the economy really kicked me in the shins. So I couldn't do that class even if I got through the scheduling problems and everything like that. Over time, though, that was when I started looking into my own gender identity and started to label myself as gender neutral, dropping the female pronoun almost completely, if I could. Um, so there was that. So I started wondering about gender, transgender, gender neutral adoption, and people would adopt, you know, allowed to adopt gender neutral. So far, what I've come across, and this is not concrete, people, so don't take this as absolute. And you never know; it might change. For Washington State, where I live, because all these things are different from state to state. Um, from what I understand, you can adopt with a partner if you're transgender. That's what I was told when I asked somebody. But of course, the person I asked, this was 2 years ago, almost, and or year and a half maybe, and I was asking somebody from an agency. Everybody I've asked, which is pretty much people from Ujima and somebody from an agency. I think they were kind of a private agency too, so I probably wouldn't have used them anyway because agencies tend to be really costly. But what I understand, or what I was told, and what I took from it, so this could be a wrong interpretation for right now, is that you you if you're married or you're partnered with somebody who is cisgendered or definite female or male, um, you can adopt with them, and I think it's a way different process for couples, and I'm not sure what that is because that didn't apply to me at the time, so I didn't actually really look into it for couples. But I'm sure if you went to like adoption.com or .org or .gov or whatever, you'll find something. Adoption.com is where I got a lot of information too. Or maybe it might be .org. I'll look it up. I'll put it down below, like I have been doing for the other two videos. So, um, and so I totally lost my train of thought. But pretty much they said you either partnered with somebody and you can adopt with them, or you could. I don't think they actually gave me a clear cut answer on whether or not a transgendered person could adopt. I think they could adopt after they've fully transitioned. From was what I kind of got from it. I'm totally certain I'm wrong, but when I asked about transgender, or not, but gender queer, gender neutral, which is what I was really I knew I wasn't going to transition at all. So I said, well, what about somebody who's two spirited, or I called myself two spirited at one point, I think too. So somebody who was two spirited or gender neutral, gender variant, and they said the person I talked to at the private agency said, they've never dealt with somebody like that before, so they couldn't really tell me, but they said, well, it might have been an issue because if you couldn't really choose your gender, then might have been harder to find the right uh, uh, choices for a child. So would you really be able to have the choice and be able to keep your choice of whether you wanted to adopt and other stuff like that, and that's kind of what it was too. But that's what one person said, and the other person from Ujima who I asked, she didn't give me a clear answer either. But she personally, well, she told me like I personally don't care, but it's I think it's really up to the people who do the home studies, and if they have some sort of thing against that, or they think because of that it might be an issue, or if I think one person, it might have been the same agency because I only talked to two people about this at the time, and I haven't actually asked around since. Um, is she? I think I also heard you might have to file or try to do your paperwork as one gender or the other. In a way, this bothers me, um, mainly because the whole I want to get as far away from the she pronoun as possible, but because legally and physically I am still female, this is a problem for me because I will have to sit there and file as and do the paperwork as female, and this pisses me off so much. But at the same time, if that's all it is, then and because I don't plan to change my gender and I don't plan to change my name or anything like that, I had thought about it, but I like my name. I think it's pretty, which is kind of a weird thing to say for somebody who wants to be as far away from the female gender. But well, other than romantically, I guess. But personally and for myself, if somebody who wants to be kind of away from the female pronouns and stuff like that, saying pretty and my name is pretty and I want to keep it that way. I just, it's been 26 years and I've been Aaron all that time and I've been the female spelling of it all that time. It's gonna take me a while to, I don't hate my name at all. I really like my name, even the middle name, which is very, very feminine. But when people hear my name, they can assume it's Aaron, or they can assume that it's Erin. I really don't care, but you know, when they hear Aaron, it kind of helps me pass as a guy. That's why I like it. So so that I haven't really done more research into that. I'm gonna ask more people over time when I start really getting into it, really start working into it. Um, there was that, and over time when I started, as gender neutral and being gender neutral, I was thinking about it and wanting to do all that. But really, that's kind of the extent of my research. Oh, that's not true. There was another organization here that's really more LGBTQ based. Um, it's kind of annoying for me though because it's called Families Like Ours, and I'll definitely put a link to that. And I do think it was a really good resource, um, except for the fact that um, how do I put this? Because I don't want to slam anybody. The website that when I went to it, I went. There was a telephone number there, and there were links to things, and there was reading lists, and there was. I'm not sure if I was retarded on the computer and I just couldn't figure it out, or I'm actually thinking it's not because I can generally get around the computer, but I just had a problem with it. So I'll go a little bit more into that. I'm at 10 minute and a half mark, so I'm gonna go now, and part four is coming soon. All right.